This is the Eddystone Lighthouse order book. In the front cover it's got white group flashing every half minute, showing 2 successive flashes of about 1 second, and it's got lights to be always burn at full power. Auxiliary light is white fixed and marks the hand deeps and is visible from south 37 degrees east to south 53 degrees east. Fog signal explosive gives 1 report every 5 minutes. Fog marks to be sounded in accordance with the instructions contained in paragraph 37 of the service regulations for oil stations. The keepers are cautioned to observe the greatest care that the signal be sounded whenever the state of the atmosphere in the vicinity of the lighthouse renders it necessary. The lantern is a biform, and it's 2 hoods petroleum vapor burners, 35mm, and the auxiliary is a catoptric 2.2 wick burners, and the 0 mark is Plymouth Breakwater Lighthouse, bearings 023.5 degrees true. The new Eddystone Lighthouse, opened by H.R.H. the Duke of Edinburgh, Master of the Corporation of Trinity House, May 1882. A little inscription on one of the pages here. The light in this 4th tower, erected on the Eddystone Reef, was kindled by His Royal Highness the Duke of Edinburgh, KG, to the Master of the Corporation of Trinity House, on this, the 18th day of May 1882. Until the 1st of June next, both lamps are to be kept at full power every night. After that date, full power with both burners is only to be used when the breakwater light is not clearly visible. At all other times, half power with the lower burner only is to be employed. The weather fog bell is to be sounded whenever fog sets in. Signed by the Master. And the signature is a bit unreadable. Also signed by Douglas, the resident engineer. August the 5th, 1882, visited this lighthouse from the Alert at 7:15 a.m. to ascertain whether extra assistance is required as requested by the keepers. House is in very good order throughout, quite as good order as might be expected having a new house having only something ordinary staff. Superintendent. April the 12th, 1883, visited with coal and oil and water in the Alert from Plymouth. House is in good order throughout. Superintendent. Looks like Ian Trefarfen or something. Trefarfen. March the 25th, 1885, visited this lighthouse from the Alert, replaced break adrift mooring buoy. Found house in good order throughout. Machinery working well and keeping good time. Visited for annual works and repairs. Trefarfen, Superintendent. August the 6th, 1885, visited by the Deputy Master, Captains Weller or Keller and Atkins, and Admirals Leopold McClintock, accompanied by Sir Thomas Fainer of the Board of Trade and Mr. A. Owen, all in good order throughout. The lightkeepers are enjoined that when a committee visits the establishment, they are to receive them at the bottom of the tower in proper uniform. Underlined proper. November the 6th, 1885. A little bit here at the end of a visit says the principal keeper A. Elgar in charge. May the 11th, 1886. Visited this lighthouse from the Alert on the way to Plymouth. Found mechanic arrived yesterday to effect some repairs to machinery and fog bell. Machinery, brackets, both revolving and bell, working well and keeping good time. House, good order and very clean. Tregarthen, Superintendent. 24th of August 1886, visited by Captain Atkins and Sir James Douglas, accompanied by something or other from the Galatea, on a return from visiting the something lighthouses. Found all in good order and clean throughout. As it appears from the working of the log, that the full power in both lamps is not put on when the breakwater light is not clearly visible. The keepers are cautioned and directed to act in strict accordance with the instructions as to the exhibition of the height of the light when there is night fog. A second keeper is to be called to attend to the winding gear. Superintendent is to order the contractors to commence the painting of outside of the lantern immediately. 14th of August 1888, visited from the Alert. They landed supply of oil, water and coal, and brought a super out to relieve keeper A.K. Gordian, it looks like, injured at the relief on the 10th last. Instructed the PK that in future, should a man be injured at the relief, he is to go on shore, should he require medical aid, instead of the keeper whose turn it is to go. This has not been done in the past. May the 20th, 1890, 28th, sorry. The crack in the western bell has extended. Reading. 21st of June by the look of it. Crack in the west bell is increasing. October the 23rd, 1890. Visited with something or other Reading in the Alert from Penzance at 11 a.m. Found improvements in ventilation and alterations and additions for mineral oil completed, and the 3 new burners in action. The keepers report the flames very sensitive when at full power, having tested both and found something or other so. Therefore instructed the principal keeper to burn the lower burners with 3 wicks for minimum power, and both burners with 4 wicks for maximum power. Examined fracture in the west fog bell, found it somewhat extended beyond the new holes drilled in each end of fracture. Informed the principal keeper that this bell must not be sounded anymore. Douglas. October the 24th, again visited with Mr. Reddin in the Alert from Plymouth, bringing with us Mr. Monison from the Breakwater Lighthouse to complete the instructions of the light keepers in the manipulations of the 6-wick mineral oil burners. Again tested the 2 burners, each with 4 wicks, and afterwards each burning 3 wicks. Having found the latter arrangement most satisfactorily, instructed the principal keeper to burn until further orders the 3 outside wicks at the lower burners in clean weather, and the 3 outer wicks of both burners when at full power. Douglas. July the 22nd, 1891, visited and inspected from Alert, found the higher apparatus clear and in order, clockwork a trifle fast, instructed keepers to be more careful in regulating it, tested adjustments of burners, found them correct. The whole of the brasswork throughout the tower requires to be thoroughly cleaned. It is not at all in a satisfactory condition. Landed oil, coal and mortar. Reading, Superintendent. April the 11th, 1893, visited and inspected from Alert, found the tower throughout in fair order only, lower burner not trimmed well, cautioned both the principal keeper and senior keepers to be more careful in future in keeping the station in better order. Landed oil and stores. Reading. August the 19th, 1892, landed from the Alert in the company of Mr. something or other Matthews, found the station clean and in order, something or other mechanic there to overhaul the clockwork and revolving apparatus. Reading again. 6th of October 1892, this time the lantern inside requires painting, the clockwork and the whole of the high apparatus requires thoroughly cleaning. Something or other keeper in charge. Reading again. March the 7th, 1893. This one is read the keeper's board's letter of May, number 192. The subject of gratuities. Reading again. June the 26th, 1894. Station clean and in good order. The keepers have not consumed the reserve provisions in accordance with the board order of the December the 21st, 7/92. Reading again. Bundle of joy he is. May the 4th, 1897. Inspected from the Ready. Found the station in fair order. The keepers do not appear to be careful as they should be generally, A 6-wick burner was sent ashore some time ago to Blackwall for repairs and has not yet been returned. No account has been kept as to the date it left the station. This is to be done in future. Reading again. November the 19th, 1897. Vessel not observed until close by. Caution keepers to keep a better lookout. Reading again. March the 29th, 1898. Both the burners have been badly timed. Something or other keepers on morning watch. More care to be taken in future. Would you believe Reading? September the 5th, 1899. The magazine doors are always to be kept locked. Landed stores, Reading. 19th of October 1900. The principal keeper does not appear to exercise the amount of care and attention that he should do in the general supervision of this station. Both burners have been badly trimmed and are to be turned down. Clothes are not to be hung up in the low light room during the day. Reading, Superintendent. June the 6th, 1904. Time the lens given correct character. Jib of explosive fog signal examined. Incandescent light closely inspected. And something or other, different portions working correctly. A. Bell. In case you're wondering what happened to Reading, he's still alive and well. A little while back he was moaning about the flagpole not going upright. And this one's April the 24th, 1907. The standby oil burner here is not cleaned thoroughly, and this must be cleaned every time and not just when they feel like it. The A.K. Hooper is in charge. June the 23rd, 1908. Inspected from the Mermaid. Clean and efficient state, but however, vessel not observed until close to the lighthouse. A.K. Hooper in charge. Reading again. November the 14th, 1912. Visited and inspected from the Siren. Found everything in clean, good order, except in the low light, of which the assistant keeper something or other reports that number 1 wick will not burn as it should do. This will be duly reported, and in the meantime the 2 spare lamps have been taken to Blackwall to be tested. Land, coal and water, stores, etc. R. Williams, Superintendent. 11th of June 1913. This writing's a bit squiggly, so it's hard to read. Visited from Siren in annual inspection, or on annual inspection. Found lighthouse very clean and in excellent working order. There is an improvement in the burning of the sublight, due to the fact that the funnel has been replaced in its original position, VG right up through the dome. That's a Crawford and a Golding signed that. Little bit October the 29th, 1917. All cupboards throughout the tower are to be replaced and cleaned and scrubbed out and put tidier. Signal flags to be taken out and aired. Signed by Williams. April the 25th, 1922. A small piece of rock on the, looks like south side of base of tower was carried away during gale on the 15th of April. Reynolds, Superintendent. October the 8th, 1923. 35mm burner has recently been substituted for a 50mm burner. It is noticed that this makes a difference of expenditure of 1 gallon per night. Looked into question of the use that can be made of the lower oil room when the 8 tanks are removed. Reynolds. December the 18th, 1923. Station clean for lights. Keep in good time. Have cautioned keepers not to be so extravagant in the use of fresh water and coal. The 10 oil tanks sent to Blackwall for repairs has not been returned. Consequently, a certain number of oil drums are kept filled at the lighthouse to maintain an ample supply. A.K. Pascal, it looks like, in charge. Signed by Reynolds. December the 2nd, 1926. Explosive jib in good order. A.E. Fern, it looks like. AK in charge. Can't read who the superintendent is. It looks almost like Mound or Bound. January the 15th, 1929. All keepers' attention drawn to the regulations against communicating information to the press. A mechanic is required to overhaul the crane and maintain the crane and something else, but that's unreadable. And a mason to cement in new bolts to hold worn bracket. New piece of copper funnel of kitchen uptake required in way of lantern. Oil tanks up to 10 cleaned out in October, November and December. Check reserve provisions. It says biscuits correct, meat 4 tins short, 196 actual, by book it says 200. Have instructed keepers, keeper in charge, this shortage must be made good. What a delightful superintendent. August the 10th, 1929. Little bit here with a cross in the paragraph. Visited station to investigate the circumstances of the loss of assistant keeper A.E. Looks like could be Davis. It could even be Bavis, but more likely Davis. At 8:45 p.m. on August the 9th, 1929, he having fallen overboard from the lighthouse and drowned. Obtained disposition from the principal keeper, he having been the only witness of the accident. Signed by a superintendent. Looks like plaintiff. And a word I cannot read. November the 22nd, 1933. Got a little note here about F. Roach, PK, has been transferred to St. Anne's Lighthouse and will be relieved by A.W. Hills, PK. November the 3rd, 1937. It's got a little bit here. The PK, Mr. Jourdain, has been instructed to commence cleaning and painting all rooms from service room down. That's Jarrett, superintendent. March the 8th, 1938. Visited by satellite. Station clean and in efficient order. The tower now looks well cared for and is up to service standards and should be maintained. Inspected books all well kept. Time light correct. Examined 1 tin of flour, 1935 good. Examined 1 tin of meat, 1927 good. Jarrett, superintendent. Just before that, November the 3rd, 1937, just noticed. The lantern and gallery has been primed and painted in the new bright red and are very distinctive. And then it says the PK, Mr. Jourdain, has been instructed. May the 10th, 1938, the lantern and gallery has a further coat of bright red paint which looks very distinctive. The panels of lantern pedestal have all been renovated and the inside scoured and painted. May the 3rd, 1939. The tower internally looks dark owing to the grey-blue paint. This is to be altered to cream panels with light stone colour slides or something. The keepers are to commence this colour scheme from the service room and work down. The inside of the lantern roof is showing beads of rust. This is to be scaled a few panels at a time, primed and repainted dull black. Jarrett, superintendent. This is 19th for the 8th, 48, the piece at the end. Additional reserve provisions have today been landed. These are only to be used in emergency, i.e. when the relief is delayed and the keeper's own stocks of food are exhausted. The superintendent's permission is to be obtained before reserve provisions can be issued. That's A. White, or T.A. White, superintendent. 20th of the 4th, 49. Inspected water tanks after cleaning out. Tanks now clean and free from oil scum. All left in good order. E. Lawrence, CO of the satellite. 28/5/51. Visited station from satellite. Everything is in good order and station clean. Masons working on outside of tower, repointing whole tower. The lower bearing of the fog signal jib is very worn, but if new jib will not be long for the coming, it can remain until then. New length for funnel piping is required above lantern. That's Goodman, superintendent. There's a little insertion here. Trinity House Depot, Penzance, 12th of November 52. To the principal keepers for the Bishop Rock, the Wolf Rock, the Longships, the Eddystone and the Plymouth Breakwater. Dear Sir, watchkeeping. As from the date of the receipt of this letter, the watches at your station are to be kept as following. And then you got the times down one side and then free keepers A, B and C. The time 0000 to 0400. The first day is keeper A. Second day is keeper B. Third day keeper C. Then you got 0400 to 1200. First day is keeper B. Second day is keeper C. Third day is keeper A. Then 1200 to 2000. First day keeper C. Second day is keeper A. Third day keeper B. 2000 to 2400. First day keeper A. Second day keeper B. Third day keeper C. Then it says and repeat. When doubling up for fog is necessary during hours of darkness, except at Plymouth Breakwater, the keeper longest off duty is to take over the fog signal, and thereafter is to be followed by the keeper coming off watch after his 4 hours in the lantern, to do 4 hours on the fog signal. This letter is to be attached in the front of the order book of your station. Yours faithfully, Goodman, Superintendent. May the 21st, 1957. Visited station from relief tug. Found all clean and in very good order. Keepers are carrying out various painting inside tower to brighten up dark places. Oven of cooking stove is in poor condition. To work a fit in a Rayburn cooker should be put in hand. Table and settee in kitchen are much improved. Landing arrangements for fog signals should be altered, in spite of proposed ultimate replacement. Goodman, Superintendent. August the 7th, 58. Inspected from satellite. New oil tanks being installed. Trouble with weight chain of lens clock to be investigated. Station in clean and efficient order. Goodman, Superintendent. 24th of June, 59. Inspected from satellite. All granite work inside tower can now be painted to improve the appearance and increase the light. Window apertures to be painted white. New Rayburn stove shortly to be supplied, and most of the copper flue pipe is to be renewed at the same time. Goodman, Superintendent. 9th of the 8th, 60. Inspected, found all in very good order considering the extent of the alterations which are proceeding. Temporary optic comes into operation tonight and will be checked from THV satellite. Fog signal jib in working order. Internal painting has been completed by keepers and is a great improvement. Annual painting of exterior of lantern is to be done as soon as possible. Chimney cowl and porter flue pipe is to be renewed. Transfer of food locker from crane room to kitchen and provisions of modern sink unit to be proposed. Emergency instructions cited. E.H. Harris, Superintendent. 16th of August, 60. Work in progress on electrification. 2 mechanics and plater being employed. Station in very good order considering the work. 26:10:60. Light corrector time. Much cleaning and repairing to be done. Following installation of new light, new grating in the centre of lantern and covers in floors where weight tube previously was to be fitted. Removal of television batteries from kitchen to be proposed. Indent to be made for steps for cleaning optic. Repair to flue pipe and cowls, not yet done. Emergency instructions cited, etc. E. Harris, Superintendent. 15:361, found all in good order. Work on new fog signal about to begin. Sundry small improvements have yet to be done, including filling of centre holes in the floors, but new grating in centre of lantern floor and repairs to flue have been effected. Another little snippet on a pink Trinity House signal form, a bit further on in the book. It says main light, group flash 2 every 10 seconds, flash 0.3, eclipse 2.2, flash 0.3, eclipse 7.2, total 10 seconds. Fog signal is a typhoon, free blast every 60 seconds, blast 2 seconds, silent 2 seconds, blast 2 seconds, silent 2 seconds, blast 2 seconds, silent 50. Total 60 seconds. 19:7:61, all in very good order. Clean and very tidily left, considering the extensive alterations which have yet to be completed. Light corrector time and standby working efficiently. Food should not be left in crane room where all batteries are now installed. It is expected that completion of alterations will follow delivery of new generators. 6:2:62. Some tidying required, but generally drab appearances due to the need for repainting, which must await completion of engineering work in the spring. Light and fog signals tested and found a correct time. Leaks of seawater into engine room and battery room to be reported. Fitting of new trend in steel internal ladder to be hastened. New sink unit is a great improvement. Emergency ration sighted. E. Harris, Superintendent. 5864. All extremely clean and well kept. Light and fog signal timed and found correct. Carpenters and masons work recently completed. Defective top section of flue pipe to be dealt with. New back cushions for settee being made. And VHF radio link now much improved. 13th of May 81. Inspected station on routine visit. Station in very good order, clean, tidy and running efficiently. It is due to become unmanned prior to it being automated very shortly. The rock will be temporarily worked by a light vessel during that time. This work is progressing. That's Captain Tarrant. Couldn't find any mention of when the lighthouse keepers got removed. But 7th of May 1986. The station has recently suffered a major lube oil leak from the top engine room. This has resulted in oil contamination on all 10 floors, including the lantern above, which is covered in oil mist. A workforce has been off last week to clean, and a lot of work has been carried out, but oil is still seeping down and requires further attention. Again, there are a lot of cartons in the lantern room to stow away. Oil-soaked mattresses and waste oil in drums to remove ashore at the earliest opportunity. This station appears to have suffered as a result of the attendant having insufficient time on station due to non-availability of helicopter. This will hopefully be resolved now that the West Coast helicopter is relieved of the Channel Islands commitment from next relief onwards. Lights and fog signals checked. Correct. That's Catesby. 6th of June 91. There's been lots of accounts since the last one I read on about it should be clean better. And now with the 6th of June 91 visited station, B engine had been reported shut down yesterday and mechanic and electrician attending today. On arrival, top engine room down 5 floors to battery room found flooded with 250 litres of lubricating oil. Operationally, this station is functioning correctly. Main and emergency and sector lights verified. Fog signal and Raycon verified correct. The station has only 2 weeks ago been repainted both inside and out and looks very good as a result. Mr. A. Mutton, attendant and maintenance team now progressing with the enormous task of cleaning down the station again. The station is now monitored from Nash Point Lighthouse since 15th of May 1990. It's Captain Catesby. And then 21st April 94. The tower is dry and warm with no long-term adverse effects from oil spillage here in 91. Catesby.